The moment this video appeared online, the internet stopped breathing. Not because it was another messy celebrity argument, not because it was another late-night livestream meltdown, but because what people saw unfolding on that shaky, grainy clip looked less like drama and more like a family ambush. The screen opens in darkness. A phone camera shaking so hard it almost blurs the entire scene. Headlights suddenly slice through the night, flooding the street in harsh white light. You hear voices in the distance, tense, angry, overlapping. Someone is arguing. Someone is shouting. And then the camera turns. And that's when the comments explode. Because the person behind the camera is Chrisean Rock. But this isn't the Chrisean the internet thinks it knows. She isn't yelling. She isn't fighting. She isn't laughing off the chaos like she's done 100 times before. Her voice is shaking. Her eyes keep darting toward the street like she's watching something approach. Something she desperately doesn't want near her house. Then suddenly another voice cuts through the darkness. Ah. Voice viewers recognize instantly. Her sister. But what she says sends a shockwave through the entire internet. She don't deserve him. We're taking the baby tonight. For a split second, the comments freeze. Because nobody, not even Chrisean's harshest critics, ever imagined hearing words like that coming from her own blood. And then the camera flips toward the street. Headlights blast directly into the lens. A car door swings open, and stepping out of the shadows is the one person nobody expected to be standing there during a family confrontation. Blueface. Arms crossed, face completely calm, like he already knew exactly what was about to happen, like he had already agreed to it. Behind him, one of Chrisean's other sisters lifts her phone into the air, recording everything like it's some kind of mission. Within seconds, the internet erupts. Blogs start posting the clip. Fans flood the comments, screaming in disbelief, because this isn't just messy celebrity gossip anymore. This looks like something far more dangerous. A betrayal so shocking, so calculated, that viewers watching the video realize instantly they cannot afford to miss a single second of what happens next. Because tonight, the people showing up outside Chrisean Rock's house aren't strangers. They aren't trolls. They aren't even enemies. They're her own family, and according to insiders who are now coming forward with disturbing details. What happened next may have been planned for weeks, before the headlights ever cut through that quiet street, before the knocking started, before the internet even realized something was wrong. There was already a storm building behind the scenes that almost nobody understood for months. People watching Chrisean Rock online thought they were seeing the full story. The messy live streams, the emotional rants, the back and forth tension with Blueface, the constant commentary from fans picking sides like it was some never-ending reality show. But insiders now claim what the public saw was only the surface. Behind closed doors, the real battle was happening inside the family, and it had been brewing for years, according to someone close to the situation. Resentment between Chrisean and several of her sisters didn't suddenly appear after fame. It had roots that stretched back long before the cameras, long before the music, long before social media turned every argument into viral entertainment. The source claims the family dynamic had always been intense in a house filled with strong personalities, loud emotions, and constant conflict. Chrisean was the one who naturally pulled attention, not because she demanded it, but because her presence was impossible to ignore. Her energy was bigger, her reactions louder, her life messier and more visible. And while some family members supported her rise, others quietly felt like they were disappearing behind her shadow. That resentment never truly disappeared. It just stayed hidden until fame magnified everything. Suddenly, every disagreement became a public conversation. Every misunderstanding became a debate online. Every family member was being questioned, criticized, or compared by millions of strangers watching from their phones. The pressure cracked relationships that were already fragile, according to leaked messages now circulating on fan forums. Arguments between Chrisean and certain sisters started becoming more serious earlier this year. One message allegedly sent in a private group chat reportedly read, "She's out of control again." Now the response came minutes later. "This ain't about her anymore. It's about the baby." At first, those messages sounded like frustrated relatives venting, but then something more disturbing appeared. An alleged screenshot shows one sister typing a line that now looks like the beginning of everything. "If she won't fix herself, we might have to step in." At the time, no one took it seriously. Even Chrisean reportedly brushed it off as emotional family talk. But insiders now say those conversations didn't stop. They escalated. Late night phone calls started happening without her. Private meets between sisters who previously barely spoke. And most shockingly, quiet communication with Blueface himself, according to a source who claims they saw the texts. The first contact wasn't dramatic, just a message asking how he felt about the situation. Then another asking whether he was worried about the baby's environment. Blueface allegedly replied with something short and direct, "I just want my son safe." From there, the conversations got deeper, longer, more serious. The source claims there were discussions about stability, parenting, and whether someone else might need to step in if things kept spiraling. Nobody outside that circle knew these talks were happening. Not the blogs, not the fans. And definitely not Chrisean. At least not at first, because weeks later, subtle warning signs began appearing online. One sister posted a cryptic message on Instagram that didn't make sense at the time. Sometimes, protecting someone means taking something away. The post stayed up for only 20 minutes before it was deleted, but screenshots live forever. And after the driveway video leaked, fans immediately dug it back up. Suddenly, that sentence felt less like vague inspiration and more like a declaration. Around the same time, insiders claim Chrisean began sensing something was wrong. Friends say she mentioned feeling watched, not by paparazzi, not by strangers, by people inside her own family. During one private conversation, she allegedly admitted something that now sounds haunting. "I feel like they're plotting something." Still, even then, she never imagined how far things would go, because while she was trying to distance herself from the tension and focus on raising her son, another piece of the puzzle was quietly falling into place. Blueface started appearing again, not publicly, privately, meeting one sister in a parking lot late at night. Texting another after midnight, asking questions about schedules, routines, where Chrisean had been staying lately. At first, the sisters allegedly told themselves they were just sharing concerns with the child's father, but the conversations kept evolving. Eventually, the idea that changed everything was spoken out loud. According to a source, claims they heard a voice recording from one of those meetings. One sister said something chilling. "What if we just take him for a while?" The room reportedly went silent. Then someone asked the obvious question, "How?" That's when Blueface allegedly answered with a sentence that now sounds like the beginning of the entire operation. "I know people who can help make it official." Nobody knows exactly what he meant. Legal advice, custody, paperwork, or just intimidation. But from that moment on, insiders say the conversations stopped sounding emotional and started sounding strategic. A plan was forming, and the most disturbing part, Chrisean had no idea. Until the night everything exploded. Earlier that evening, the house had been quiet. Neighbors later said nothing seemed unusual. No yelling, no music blasting, no drama. Just a dim living room light glowing through the front window while Chrisean reportedly walked her baby around the house trying to get him to sleep. But something in the air felt wrong. She kept glancing toward the street. Her phone buzzed. Once, unknown number, no message, she ignored it. Then it buzzed again. Still nothing. The third buzz came, with a text that made her heart drop. We're coming. No name, no. Explanation, just those two words sitting on her screen like a threat. She tried calling the number back, no answer. Tried. Texting again, the message never delivered. For a moment she convinced herself it was a prank, but seconds later another notification appeared, a video. When she opened it, everything inside her froze. The camera inside the clip was shaking as if someone was recording from the passenger seat of a moving car. Streetlights flashed across the windshield. Then the camera turned, two faces filled the screen. Her sisters laughing nervously, and leaning forward between them with a slow, confident smile was Blueface. One of the sisters looked directly into the phone and said something that instantly made Chrisean panic almost. There. Her stomach dropped, because she knew exactly what that meant. They weren't joking. They were already on the way. She grabbed her baby immediately, started pacing, locking doors. Checking the windows, trying to call someone she trusted. But before she could even finish explaining what was happening, headlights suddenly washed across the front yard. Bright, blinding, the exact same car from the video. Her heart started pounding. They were faster than she expected, closer than she thought. Outside, a car door slammed, then another. Footsteps on the driveway. The first knock hit the door like a hammer. Hard, aggressive. Not the kind of knock that waits politely. The kind that demands entry. Chrisean froze in the living room, holding her baby against her chest. Another knock. Louder. This time, then a voice. Her sister opened the door. Didn't move. Didn't breathe. Then the second voice joined in, colder, sharper, double quotes. "We not leaving without him." The words made her knees weaken, because suddenly every strange message, every suspicious conversation, every uneasy feeling from the past few weeks finally made sense. This wasn't an argument. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was something far worse. Then the voice she feared most cut through the night. Blueface.com.unbotthered. Almost amused. "Rock, open the door. You making this harder than it gotta be?" Inside the house, something inside her snapped. Not fear, fury, the kind that makes your hand shake and your vision blur. She tightened her grip around her baby and whispered softly, trying to calm both of them. "Mommy got you." Outside, footsteps moved along the side of the house, then toward the back, then toward the windows. They weren't waiting for to cooperate. They were surrounding the house. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from an account she didn't recognize. "If you don't open the door, we'll." That's when the situation turned from terrifying to explosive, because just as she stepped toward the stairs with her baby in her arms, trying to think of what to do next, a new video arrived on her phone. The clip showed Blueface sitting inside the car again, recording himself. He held up a folded piece of paper toward the camera. "She don't even know we already got approval." The camera zoomed closer. The paper looked like a custody document, but the name signed at the bottom wasn't his. And it definitely wasn't Chrisean's. It belonged to someone else, someone inside the family, someone whose identity was about to send the internet into absolute chaos. And when fans finally recognized that signature, everything about this night would suddenly make a lot more sense. For a few seconds, the world around Chrisean Rock felt like it had stopped moving. Her hands were shaking so badly she almost dropped the phone. The video was still playing on the screen, frozen on that single frame of the custody document. Paper was slightly wrinkled, the camera struggling to focus, but one thing was painfully clear. The signature at the bottom didn't belong to Blueface, and it definitely wasn't hers. But the shape of the letters, the curve of the initials, the way the last name looped at the end, it looked terrifyingly familiar. Outside the house, the pounding on the door grew louder. Rock, open the door. Another voice cut in sharply. You're making this worse. Chrisean backed away slowly, clutching her baby closer to her chest as the noise echoed through the house. Her mind was racing through every possible explanation, every possible betrayal. Because whoever signed that document wasn't just interfering. They were trying to take her child. Her phone buzzed. Again, a new text appeared from an unknown number. If you won't hand him over peacefully, we'll do it the legal way. Her breath caught in her throat. The legal way. That meant the paperwork might actually be real, which meant someone inside her own circle had helped make it happen. Downstairs, easy. Something slammed hard against the doorframe. Wood cracked. One of her sisters shouted from outside. We know you're in there. Another voice followed immediately. You can't hide forever. The chaos was getting louder with every second, but what truly sent a chill down her spine was how calm Blueface sounded in the background. You don't gotta run, Rock, he said evenly. We just doing what's right. That word hit her like a punch. Right. In what universe did breaking into someone's house and threatening to take their child count as doing the right thing? Her baby stirred in her arms, sensing the tension. She rocked him gently, whispering under her breath. Nobody's taking you. Nobody. But downstairs, the pressure was building. Someone rattled the back door. Another set of footsteps. Moved toward the side window. They weren't bluffing anymore. They were trying to get inside. And that's when the internet got involved, because while the confrontation outside was escalating, the video from Blueface's car had already exploded across social media. Within minutes, clips were everywhere. TikTok.Instagram.Twitter.fans were dissecting every frame. Like detectives, one tweet went viral almost instantly. Why is Blueface holding custody paperwork in a driveway pull-up? Another post racked up thousands of likes within minutes. That signature ain't his. Whose name is that? Screenshots of the document started circulating across fan pages. People zoomed in, enhanced the image, compared the handwriting to old autographs and social media posts. The theories got wilder by the minute. Some people blamed the sisters, others insisted Blueface must have connections helping him push legal pressure. But then a verified entertainment reporter dropped a tweet that changed everything. Hearing that a third party may have helped arrange the paperwork, 3 words at the end sent shockwaves through the internet. Name coming soon. Suddenly, the story wasn't just about a messy family argument anymore. Now it looked like something far more calculated, something planned, something organized. Back inside the house, Chrisean was still staring at the signature when another loud crash echoed downstairs. The front door frame finally gave way. Wood splintered. Footsteps rushed inside. Voices filled the lower floor immediately. Her sisters arguing with each other. Blueface calling her name. The sound of shoes moving across the hallway. Her pulse hammered in her ears. They were inside Rock. Blueface shouted, "Come on! Don't make this crazy!" She backed deeper into the upstairs bedroom, her breathing uneven, trying to think through the panic clawing at her chest. Because now she realized something terrifying. They weren't just confident, they were convinced they had already won. Then her phone lit up again. Another notification, but this time it wasn't a message. It was Twitter. The reporter who promised the name had posted again. And the tweet instantly detonated across the internet. Sources confirm the signature on the custody paperwork may belong to a relative of Chrisean Rock. The replies exploded instantly. A relative? Which one? Who would betray her like that? Within minutes, amateur investigators started digging through old interviews, family live streams, and social media clips. One name began appearing again and again. A family member who had always been deeply involved in the household. Someone older, someone who had strong opinions about how things should be handled. Someone who had publicly criticized Chrisean's lifestyle before. Then a blurry screenshot surfaced. A slowed down frame of the custody document. The signature enhanced. It's just enough for people to recognize the shape of the letters. The internet erupted because the name being whispered in comment sections wasn't one of the sisters. It was the Aunt Dot, the same aunt who had helped raise parts of the family. Years earlier, the same aunt who had recently been arguing with Chrisean behind the scenes. The same aunt who once said in a live stream, "Sometimes the older generation has to step in." Suddenly, everything made sense. The paperwork, the confidence, the way the sisters seemed convinced they were doing something justified because, according to the newest rumors spreading online, the aunt had promised them something: legal protection. If they helped get the baby away from Chrisean. Outside, another car pulled into the street. Neighbors who had begun filming from their windows whispered nervously into their phones, "Someone else just pulled up." The live stream comments exploded. Bloated. "Who is THAT?" The camera zoomed toward the driveway. A car door opened slowly and a woman stepped out. She didn't look nervous. She didn't look angry. She looked calm too. Calm. The kind that comes from believing you're in complete control inside the house. Chrisean peeked through the upstairs window, and the moment she saw who it was, her stomach dropped because walking toward the house with slow, confident steps was the one person she never thought would betray her like this. Her aunt downstairs. The arguing suddenly stopped. Even the sisters went quiet. The aunt walked into the doorway, like she was stepping into a meeting she had already scheduled. Everyone turned toward her. And when she finally spoke, her voice was low and steady. "Everybody, relax. No shouting, no panic, just authority." Blueface stepped aside like he was suddenly the least important person in the room. One sister rushed forward. "She's upstairs with the baby." The aunt nodded slowly, like she already knew. Then she said the sentence that made the entire situation feel even darker. "We're going to handle this the right way upstairs." Chrisean's heart felt like it might explode. Because now she understood the truth. The sisters hadn't planned this alone. Blueface hadn't orchestrated everything either. Someone else had been pulling the strings behind the scenes. Someone who believed they had the power to decide what was best for everyone, and now that person was standing inside her house, coming upstairs. One step at a time. Blueface's voice echoed through the hallway again, softer this time. "Rock, it's already done. Just hand him over." But what none of them realized yet, what the internet was just beginning to uncover, was that another piece of evidence had just surfaced online. A recording of private conversation that might reveal who truly pushed this entire plan into motion, and if the voice in that recording is really who insiders think it is. This family war is about to explode into something even bigger than anyone imagined. If you made it this far, then you already know the story is far from over. What started as a shocking video of Chrisean Rock facing off against her own sisters has now exploded into a full-blown family war, with Blueface, alleged custody paperwork, and a mysterious mastermind pulling strings behind the scenes. And the most chilling part is that new leaks are still surfacing every hour. Insiders already hinting that more recordings could drop. Messages that might reveal who really pushed this entire situation into motion, and whether this was truly about protecting a child or about power, control, and betrayal inside the family. But here's the truth most people don't realize. Stories like this evolve in real time. New clips appear. New witnesses speak out. New receipts hit the internet when nobody expects them. And when that next bombshell finally drops, the people who weren't paying attention from the beginning are always the ones scrambling to figure out what really happened. So, if you want to stay ahead of the chaos and catch every shocking twist the moment it breaks, make sure you hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because the next update in this story could change everything we thought we knew. And before you go, I need to hear from you. Do you think this was a genuine attempt to protect the baby? Or was this a calculated setup that spiraled completely out of control? Drop your opinion in the comments below because this conversation is only getting louder, and your voice might be part of the next viral debate. Stay tuned, because the next leak might be the one that finally exposes the truth.